Chapter 45. How is your geography? Suddenly Oleg asked next morning on the breakfast table. I think okay, why? Asked Diamond first. Do you know where this place is? He gave a paper with something wrote on it. Yes, it is a place a few kilometers from here. Diamond answered after he read what was on the note. Good. This afternoon we are going there. Something interesting will be organized. You should see. He sounded mysteriously, but both of his friends didn't ask anything more. It was around 5 o'clock afternoon when Diamond, Dominic, and Oleg stepped out from the taxi. It wasn't too much, said Oleg after he paid the bill. In front of them was a small cottage house. It reminded Dominic on one place where her grandfather took her once for the holiday. That happened only once, but she never could forget that moment. The interesting thing was that she never found out the name of the place. Her grandfather didn't tell her. The hall was small, but very beautiful voices were coming through the back door room. Oleg went first into that direction, then Diamond, then Dominic. Too many wishes, too many dreams. Everything has to come true. Everything has to be normal. Three of them heard a speech. Man who Dominic remembered from the cafe was standing in the middle of the room with some book in his hand. See as the secret which we want to discover, no matter what, but they still stood as a secret, with all our circling until they decided to open, and it is some and same with everything else. We have to wait for the right time, and time will come for every two, for every wish, for every hour work. He stopped for a second, for the second, because he saw them new persons in the room. Dominic was afraid of his look. She wanted to run away, but man's voice didn't allow her. Well, we have a young and handsome, beautiful girl and two new heroes. He didn't sound as he was placed or pleased to have them there, but they didn't make any step. Do you know what is the first phenomenon? No. To be brave, to continue, even when it hurt you. Dominic's first thoughts has been how that young man was fanatic. She couldn't listen anymore. Suddenly turned and started to run. She didn't care how loud noise made behind her back. Only what was on her mind in that moment was to get the air. Fresh, cold air. She needed, no matter how freezing was it. Why? She raised her head to the sky. Why, God, how long, how many more? Dominic started to cry so badly that last her breath lost and felt strong pain in her body. Wars, revolution, for what? Fights, killing, fear. For what? Aren't we human? Their conversation. Why, God? Everyone suffer, both sides. She reminded what kind of suffer her grandfather had, what kind of strong pain he survived. She felt more sorrow because of those memories. She missed him. Dominic, it was the diamond's voice. Next, what she remembered was that cried as a small girl in his arms, and those arms were the only safe place in the whole world that she could imagine. Dominic was so scared. Because of what she reminded by stories and because she probably collected through the parents' memories. Chapter 46. They got back into the hotel late. Dominic was in that kind of shock which didn't allow her to think and spoke at all. The best for you is to go directly into the bed. Tomorrow you will feel better. She heard the diamond's voice through the distance as she, walking in the dream, step by step, slowly passed the stairs and stopped on the floor where her room was. Usually, the hall was dark with only low lights which came from the window on the end of it. But in that moment, it seems to her, or it was for real, that light were stranger. She came closer to the room's door and it was opened. Dominic wasn't ready for one more surprise. She wanted to run away, but she didn't have power for any more. After a moment of break, young girl made a step into the bedroom. Some sound came from the bathroom. That moment made her felt more afraid, but when she heard a woman's voice singing, started to breathe a little bit better. It was a roommate. "Oh, sorry," said young woman when she noted Dominic in the room. "I had plenty of jobs, so that is the reason why am I late. I hope that is not a problem." That sounded as excused. "Oh," with tried and tired voice answered Dominic. No problem, just do your work. I'll get some rest, if you don't mind." Before young woman answered, Dominic was in bed. She felt so tired that her politeness wasn't important in that moment. The roommate spoke language not very well, as she came somewhere from the west. With those thoughts fell into a deep sleep. She couldn't serve her paranoid thoughts any more. Strong sound of loud knocking woke up Dominic. "Dominic," it was the diamond's voice. "I'm coming." She opened the door with her clothes all pressed of asleep. "Hurry up, we have a meeting. Police wants to speak with us, and Professor said that it's time for opening the cards." He turned back. "Open the cards?" She repeated after him. "That's what he said," answered Diamond and left behind the corner. Dominic slowly asked, again, what was on Diamond's mind. She slowly closed the door and stood up in front of the mirror. "If we want someone to respect us, first we have to give respect. Give good and you'll get good. If you want your job to be popular, you have to make others popular too." She said again in front of her face. Didn't know why, but she felt a huge fear and strange energy passed through her body. Her mind was tired and her heart. She wanted clear opinion and wishes couldn't find a way out. What are those people want from her? From her friends? She asked on aloud. She looked at the clock. It was already late. Better for her to hurry. After a few moments, she was in the front of the door where meeting was. Why don't people just don't stop to press each other, using each other, allow someone to live? It was first what she heard behind the door, which was half opened. Her professor's voice wasn't hard to recognize. She slowly got inside and started to look where her two friends were. They were on the other side of the room. She decided to take a place which was first near to the door. Before I'll give a word to the detective, I will repeat again that you don't have to answer on any question, but would be nice to help. We trust people from the police, don't we? His question was more suggestion than anything else. Dominic saw in the man who she admired one tired and unhelpful feeling person. She felt sorry, but that wouldn't help. Well, what happened. How we have to stop the new tragedy, because if that one wants, he'll do it. We don't have time to speak with everyone. So if you don't mind, please write on the paper what to do you think and how well you know the late person. You have time until tomorrow evening. Please leave everything to your professor, and he'll give us. That will be all. He shortly, in a moment of policeman, on a manner of policeman, closed his words. It was the end of a meeting. Chapter 47. I don't understand. You have to explain me. Someone has everything and someone doesn't have something. Someone works hard whole life and doesn't have anything, and someone got rich over a night. It is funny to talk about this in these modern times, said Dominic next morning to her new friend. Smell nice coffee and sweet cakes were waiting around. Do you think that people are ready to think modern? She looked at him and saw her grandfather in his lovely eyes. Well, the man stepped on the moon. The life could continue forever. People are moving through the space as they walk on the earth. They soon will travel on a holiday in the past time or a future. I read that somewhere. How I could tell human revolution and opinion are not modern. She analyzed herself and everything around. Yes, but emotions, power, wish, no, my darling, we are still far away from other times. They should came from us, not only from scientists, even if there's no time for that. Dominic knew that he was right. Well, I know that you feel sick because of everything, but look at the bright side. At least we don't feel bored. Something is always happening, and all those emotions are pushing us to do or make something, don't you think? Dominic wanted that could be like it. She tried to find out excuse for everything. Was she right? She wasn't sure. Anyway, every time when I want to wake up bright and nice side or the good natural from the people is becomes opposite. I don't know, am I wrong or I simply don't understand. She said very sad. My sweet nice girl, people do not like anyone who tried or comment what to do. Someone listen because of curiosity, someone because they polite. But most of them just simply got angry. The proud one, the hardest one, is to make people to listen to you. You have to be creative and you have to be interesting, but also you have to share their problems. It was too much words, too much advices, but sometimes that wasn't enough. Love is important. The compliments. Dominic knew that she sounded to herself as romantic person, but it was true and people accepted as they wanted, not as the others saw them. How did explain something as forbidden? It's come from past days, but it is still going on. Why? Dominic wanted to hurt his opinion. How simply is a wish for the leadership that is the only way. Something is good, but something it is out of mind. But unfortunately, that is the only way to show to the world our side of face. So it could be dangerous but useful. The old man stopped to talk. There were some noise in the ground of house. Who that could be? Is that a building? Wasn't any sound for years, with slow movements in the moment and the manner of old man. He walked to the window. Dominic followed him, and she had what to see. That woman from the act by a few days ago, which she had on the street, had a fight with young woman. Dominic couldn't see the young woman's face at the first moment, but even that she could. Dominic was so shocked with the first one. That old witch, said Professor next to her. She's so hysteric, never has got a peace. Dominic wanted to tell him something, but she changed her mind. Second woman turned, and she recognized a roommate from her room in the hotel. Was she's been Has she been followed? But they but why they made so much noise? What was going on? She was important person in the local government house. Her time passed, but she couldn't accept it. Something was more understandable in that moment to Dominic. Sometimes we don't know that it's time for rest. I mean, the old people. He said that so sad. Oh, people, oldest, hard to God. After first reaction of sorrow, Dominic couldn't hide that comment sounded funny to her. You said that, lady. She pulled a finger into direction to behind where the window was. You know her? Finally asked very carefully. Yes, I know her more than I wanted. The old man stopped for a second to take a breath. She was one of the most beautiful women that I've saw that night here in this building on the stairs. It was a cold afternoon, and in that moment was relief because night got deep. Young and one man couldn't wait to found the place which was recommended to him as a good home for stay. He stopped in front of old but fresh renovated door. It was a number as on the place written on a piece of old newspaper which he had in his hand. Building was in dark. It was late, but not so. Young man was turning around to give himself a time to think. One shadow was coming directly to him. Under the street's light, night looked as a beautiful moon's light. It was one young lady. It wasn't possible to saw her face at first moment. She moved slowly as on clouded which felt down. Absolutely unreal as a piece and place would dream about what young man got fantasy a lot. Good evening, finally, with melodic voice, she said to him. It wasn't ordinary at those time that one lady spoke with unknown man, but she did very brave at that late hour. Good evening, young man wanted to be polite. Excuse me, but I don't know how to get inside, and no one wants for me, and we have a deal. His words were confusion because his attention was full on her beautiful face that was possible to saw under a street's light after she came closer to him. I am sorry to tell you this, but I think that your friend wouldn't be here for a while. She looked at the street in front of her as she was afraid how someone could hurt her or to come. You, your friend, had to go away. I think somewhere and abroad. Police came after him this morning. It was very dangerous for him and could be for all his friends. She explained. Did he say anything? Young man regretted because he presented himself. Yes, he asked me to help you, but you mustn't say anything about your relationship with him. She turned her head to show on the window, which probably belonged to young man's friend. Yes, of course, he carefully answered and started to follow. That was my first met with a lady who we've just seen, explained the old man to Dominic. She wanted something more to ask, but maybe it was better to allow him to explain everything about. It was late afternoon. I have to go now. They will soon serve the dinner. If you don't mind, I'll come tomorrow to continue with this story. She nicely gave him on knowledge how it would be very interesting to hear more old man didn't answer anything except that he nodded as understanding. Chapter 48. Why the police? He asked, with hot cup of tea in his hands. Near knows it was good because the cold weather frozen them and his face too. What he did. The young man wanted to find out how much the beautiful lady knew and how dangerous everything was. Well, if you two are friends, you should know better. That surprised and made suspicion to grow up with handsome men. We know each other, but we are not so close. What he did, shall I ask you again? What did he do? He wanted to avoid it. So much stupid questions. I think it is something about politics, finally answered the woman. Some kind of a revolution is on the beginning. We heard, I don't know, maybe they are rumor only. The young man was so tired, but he needed to get more answers. So he left abroad. Where on the east or on the west? Lady turned slowly. For sure not on the east. I don't know. He left somewhere. South. The door behind the man's back slowly opened. Mama, it was a soft young boy's voice. I'm coming, darling. That's guest came. She slowly went out from the room before young man had time to saw a boy. He was more shocked than in the moment when he heard about his friend's problem. That's it was question when woman came back. Yes, two of us are your friend family. It was everything what she said that evening. Did you find out anything interesting? Sounded as joke that something as worry about. More than you think, answered Dominic to Oleg. It is a story about politics. We should leave them. Dominic was surprised. Leave them. You are so possessed with them. Where that came from? She couldn't hide her irony. Yes, through the books and films, but not in real. His answer was fast but very wise. Ah, maybe I took it wrongly. She knew that her position as a leader with this job was not good pleasure with him. So he pretended or he something like that should looks wanted that something like that should looks like. Do you know what could be the best for everything as punishment? To ignore, to allow them to know how they could feel when someone didn't care anything, to give them a feeling that they were not important, to be alive or to be dead wasn't matter. Dominic couldn't understood why he was upset. Do you know why? I saw respect the old generation because they were friends, one of for each other. What we are not today and in present. Dominic couldn't hide how his reaction didn't touch her. Excuse me, please. She slowly turned and forgot about a dinner and everything. Only what she wanted was to got into a room and be alone as soon as possible. After a few moments, when she was on a shore, sitting on a warm bed, it was a perfect moment for made thoughts into a shape. What was and where could be connection between the old professor and their one? What kind of reaction that could be? She forgot everything about Diamond and his suggestion about a date. Chapter 49. The love that is something for your age, not some kind of hard subject. That was Diamond's reaction next morning. Love. Dominic was surprised. About what kind of love you are talking about? She continued, and her beautiful face got a strange, painful look. About friend, about lovers, about brothers, or because of interests? What? Diamond didn't answer on the beginning. Behind who you are standing, what do you want from me? She started to insist. I didn't expect that love could frighten you so much. His complaint sounded very cold and rude. Love. She regretted and started to turn around. I don't feel and I can't see any love around me. No one shows it. He looked her, but she didn't allow herself to get touched. Dominic decided to hadn't trust anyone and couldn't explain because of why, just intuition was telling her so. She couldn't trust only to intuition. You are making mistakes, one after the other. The handsome man couldn't give up. Me? She wasn't that kind of person who got up easy angry, but now Diamond's present started to irritate her. You don't have an idea what are you talking about. That was the truth. Dominic had very hard time and she took it so seriously. Not as her friends did she didn't know had they liked her opinion or they needed to have fun because of sensitive souls and too much fright to faced with suffer or because they were interested in other problems at all. Were they rude or sensible? Love it is everywhere, is around you, but you have to feel it. Diamond came closer his and put her hand on his heart. Can you feel it? That is love. I love, he said with low voice. It is a love for everyone and everything. Oh? She removed her hand as she was afraid as burned herself. For everyone, but there is something special for you. And it is more than just friendship. Now Dominic didn't know what to say. Thank you. He left her. She's just got explanation of love by the young man who took an important place in her thoughts, but she wasn't prepared. She couldn't recognize or didn't have experience to show it properly. One thing was important, what everyone thought her to doesn't lose any chance which shows up was something what Diamond Express could call that chance. She couldn't think any more because there were too many things what would found out. Step by step, Dominic was on her floor. She stopped and instead to went into direction of her room, young lady turned to the roof's door. As usually it was opened. You came. It was more than surprise. The woman who attacked her, the woman from the old professor's background and story was standing in front of Dominic with half-lighted daily shadow over her body. For all these years, we didn't learn how to be human and to use humanity. Do you know why? Because life is short. Started woman with very peaceful voice, which again surprised Dominic. Yesterday, I mean the day when we met. You, sorry because if I am not so polite, but you weren't too. Dominic wanted to find something more about the reason of the woman's attitude. I need to be like that. You are new in this area, and I see you found this nice place. Woman had a very expensive and very elegant coat on herself. It was strange because she got with Dominic expression how her style would be more poor. The place saved my life once, this one, said woman. Dominic was shocked. She didn't recognize at a first moment that both of them knew for a secret room. My father, he was a friend with one for distance militant. He came across the ocean and I was friend with someone who was enemy. For this box were thing, old things. First one was a part of material with sign name P on it. Those belonged to my father. Dominic didn't know why the woman told her that. She opened her mouth to say something, but the woman was faster. Don't ask me anything, please. She raised her hand, which was obviously that belonged to one magnificent and good-looking woman. Those transformation. You didn't expect the charm that I have, woman asked Dominic as she could read her mind. No, it was a lie. Dominic wanted to be polite. I saw that behind the clothes. Last time stood some very nice woman, as you are. The woman turned and started to laugh. Don't flatter with me. Now Dominic had one woman. No, I really mean, if you want to listen my opinion as young person, you are the real lady. She had that kind of opinion. It is not usually these days, as you came from the other time. With these words, Dominic didn't know how the woman's heart started to open and how much sympathy she deserved with it. It is not only how I look like, it is what I wear with me. Sometimes memory could make you look good and feel bad, and sometimes destroy you. But I don't know why God and memories were nice to me, thank Lord. She stepped closer to Dominic. You're beautiful. Stay that way and don't try to recall something what could ruin you. Dominic couldn't understood why nice conversation became so skeptic. With those thoughts, she even didn't note that beautiful woman left the room. Only the sound of an old door, which moved in the harmony of wind, made melody sound as Dominic's heart.